How's your day? It is Friday.
It is Friday. I've been up since 5 because I had
Oh,
work
wow.
to do. I had a Zoom meeting and all this stuff. But yeah,
Of course you
yeah,
have a Zoom meeting, right? Everybody's either on Zoom or GoToMeeting or
all of
GoToWebinar.
that.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah,
I was just,
digital
I
takeover.
know, digital takeover. Well, so Lee Daniel, I have actually never talked to you before in this kind of environment where it's kind of like we're connecting with people that we've not actually met, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah,
But you are a dancer, choreographer, master educator, and this whole digital takeover that you have, just kind of said is you jumped on right away because I think I've been watching you on, IG Live for months now. So, what was were you kind of like, yeah, I can do this, or were you doing it before this even happened, like
you
pandemic
know,
happened?
it's crazy. I wasn't really too keen on doing the digital thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I've had social media accounts, but the first time that I had done a live class was, after this all got going. And
Yeah,
it's very interesting. I didn't set out to like just be like, oh, I'm gonna be all about it, but it just kind of happened, and now it is what it is, and it's
yeah,
been challenging. But at the same time, I think that as an educator, I think I'm not to pat myself on the back, but I'm versatile enough to be able
yeah.
to handle it. And
Yeah.
it's been some challenges, but we're making it work, and it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah, well, I know that you're on faculty at Broadway Dance Center. You've done like T. Millie stuff, and what is the most fun? Like, what is like if you had your druthers? Like, what? I sound like my mother. If you had your druthers, what would, what would be like your ultimate? Like, would it be in studio, on tour, in film? Like, what is your like super passion?
Oh man, I think the studio is probably pretty high up there,
Yeah,
and that can be in any setting as far as rehearsal or class. I just love being in that room and creating and like trial and error and
hmm,
like just making it all work and putting in that work to like make it like perfect. That's
exactly.
probably my number one. And then
Yeah.
of course the stage, like that's also like right there with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a lot that we've been talking about on these different level up sessions where, I just talked with Allison Falk and she was telling me all the, there's these underground battle sessions, that people are doing with, B-boy, B-girls. So I'm getting introduced to all this new information. When you first jumped online and you were like, okay, what's my background going to look like? Is it my kitchen? Is it my living room? Is it, do I need lights? Because I've seen a lot of setups. Some people are in their garage, some people take it to the street, some people in parking lots, so what made it so that you could just do it from home and say, you know what, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to be me in front of the camera. What was that for you?
Yeah, I think that that's just a part of my personality in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how I live.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be as transparent as possible and not to take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Because I actually, I mean, I've been seeing everybody else's setups too, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. But at the same time, my house isn't really, it's just my house. I wish I had a garage and like all of that. I have a rooftop that I've gone up there
Ooh.
and like shot some stuff up there, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I think this is pretty like relatable, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to. I'm also like a divergent kind of person too, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to just like do what everyone else is doing all the time. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think this is comfortable for me, and it allows me to just be myself. So
Yeah,
it's easy.
I
Yeah.
I saw someone, I'm forgetting her name right now, but I saw something posted and it said, do the warm up before Lee Daniels class. And I was like, what? Like there was someone who was doing a warm up class for your class before your class. So,
Oh yeah. Well, my fiance, she actually does stretch and strength, so
maybe
maybe
that was
that's
it.
who. Yeah, Sienna Lyons. She teaches
Yes.
in here too, and so like yeah, we've taught like back to back a few times, and like so
I
she'll
was
teach.
like, how he got so I didn't know that you guys were connected that way, but I was just like, wow, he has someone teaching his warm-up class to get you ready for his class. So, bless her because she's multi-talented as well, but I had no idea you guys were connected that way. So um tag teaming the internet from your house.
Making
um
it work. Yeah.
what exactly do you think is because you've been watching it, right? So I've been studying what people have been doing and asking people how do you connect with these students where you can't really put your hands on, correct in person? Like, how do you find, the best connection being so far away?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the main things that I would say that I don't love about it, because
Mm-hmm.
being in the room is like being in the room, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no other substitute for that.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, even when I am in the room, I also think it's also challenging to try to get people on the same page. So you have to use your words and like
Mm-hmm.
be able to connect with people in a way that they understand where you're coming from,
Yeah.
and they can enter your mind so that they can like absorb that information and then produce their own perspective. So I
Yeah.
think it's easy for me because I like to use my words, but then at the same time it is challenging because it's like you can't physically be there. So yeah, it's interesting, and I'm learning to love it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing like being in the room. But
Right.
this is a great segue given the circumstances, and
Yeah.
still being able to connect, and even being able to connect with more people because it's digital. And I taught a class for a group in Morocco, Africa, and I was just like, that was really really cool. It was a really fun class, and they were so appreciative, and that's always great, and they got a lot out of it too. And that's
Yeah.
what I've been trying to do with every class that I teach. I let everybody know, again, just being transparent, being like, hey, what is it that I can do to help you to get on this same page as me, and to make us all have a great experience. So it's been fun. It really has. It's been
Yeah.
challenging but fun.
Yeah. Well, I know that the other thing I ask a lot of people is, where do you find yourself after this? Like, when there's a cure for this pandemic and we've got a vaccine and we're all really just going into our normalcy, whatever that is, where do you find yourself with the online portion of what you offer?
Hmm. I think that it's definitely going to be something new for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And it's interesting because it's always been going this way as far as digitally and tutorials online, but now I feel like in the video games sometimes you see the little arrows that make the character go zip like right
Yeah.
past. I think the pandemic situation kind of shot us right
Yeah.
forward through it. So it's been crazy to adjust so quickly, but
Mm-hmm.
it's good. I think that it's teaching everybody to really dig inside of themselves and to be resilient and to figure it out. And
Mm-hmm.
as artists, I think we're doing that anyway, and
Yeah.
we've learned to do that over time. And it's just I look forward to actually what is going to come from it. And I've already feel like I've grown a lot
Mm-hmm.
and gotten better at teaching, even because again of the challenge of just being able to, or having to just explain to people through a screen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really hope that everybody is doing the work of the introspection and trying to find more from their artistry and being able to like to give that out, because that is a challenge too, to be able
Mm-hmm.
to exude that same type of energy through a screen, and which is also good training too, because obviously a lot of people want to work in the industry, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our work is done film and television and now internet. So
Internet.
you have to be able to captivate, and the
Yeah.
only way to practice is to get on there and do it.
Exactly. Well, so what are you hearing kind of in your, conversations with your agent or different industry people, as far as what visually people can do with what the technology we have? Because I know that, when I was talking to my agent, they were telling me that people were reissuing contracts for commercials because they can't really shoot a whole bunch of commercials. So they're basically just recontracting commercials for what has already been out there. But that shooting has not really stopped. They're just taking less people at a time so that you're not with the whole, waiting room of people for a music video. You're just bringing them in and actually scheduling the shots out, right? Which is super important for people, so that you're not just sitting there and, the hurry up and wait. So when you're talking with, people that in the industry, like, what do you see as like a difference of maybe production schedules or castings, that notices that you've seen that are a little bit different than maybe before, or even maybe something that you've submitted yourself as far as projects?
Oh, well, actually, I'll talk about what I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my fiance, we both work with Kids Bop,
Oh,
and
okay.
we've been doing all of their media content for about 3-4 years now, and we've had to transition into to filming all of their content through Zoom, which is what we're doing for this next week.
Yeah.
And it's very crazy. One example, we had to teach the kids because they do these dance alongs and they do their own tutorials that they, you know, teach for children. And they had to teach. So we had to teach them how to teach through Zoom. And so that was so challenging. It was the craziest thing ever. But we got through it and they did a really good job. And then that, again, that just goes to show like, oh my gosh, like we still can do so much, you know, through this medium. And as far as hearing from other friends, it's the same thing. Like all the productions, everybody like is just moving along and trying to adjust and to make it as efficient as possible. And of course, there's going to be like all of the technical difficulties and the trial and error. But yeah, I think that everybody is just on that wave, and it's crazy. Even the casting I did the other day, like I had to like do a you know, virtual submission, and there's an app I think called Hey Joe, where you can show up like right now what we're doing, and it's split up just like this, and you can be with the casting director and do your thing. And so it's crazy because it's like now you really have to be on, because obviously when this camera is there, like, you know, we're taught that, hey, it's go time. So it's just making you be a little bit more sharper. You can't really get away with too much.
Well, and it's different than being in a casting, you know, waiting room, and then you getting in there and then saying, okay, now I'm gonna, you know, do XYZ. All right, now we're on, and you go, versus let me fix my screen as you're trying to have the audition, right? It's just crazy. I just remember back in the day, you know, like LA Casting we have, and then Casting Networks came along, and they were like, you have a barcode, and I was like, what? Like, that's how I feel like the internet has like just told me, like, you have a meeting. What?
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Well, so what are you listening to? What is your mood these days? Like, what is giving you inspiration?
Oh man, there hasn't been a whole lot of music. Well, Brandy just came out with a new album, which I haven't listened to yet, but I'm super excited about that.
Yes.
There really hasn't been a whole lot of music though. And given with what's going on, it's made me actually read a little bit more. I've been trying to, like, over the past few years, just trying to read a lot more. I don't really like enjoy it that much. I never really did, but now I'm learning to do more research and just learning about history, and that's been super inspiring. Just to fill up my cup with more otherworldly things instead of just dance and just entertainment all the time. I think me being able to unplug serves the purpose of feeding my art. And so reading for me has been great. I just got post-traumatic slave syndrome in the mail. I've been reading like Miseducation of a Negro, Black Skin, White Fate, or all of these books that have just been like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I need to drink all of this in. And that for me right now in this moment has been super inspiring, because it's empowering at the same time. And I feel energized by having knowledge, like true knowledge, and being able to absorb that and make that into my art.
Thank you so much. Well, that just put a button in it right there. So I hope that people take away exactly that is, you know, figure out what fuels your soul and, you know, soak that in, and it will generate something. You know, I think that everything that people are consuming right now is going to put out into the world, you know, some sort of piece of art, whether it's something we like or something we don't want to see. You know, it's going to amplify a lot of that. So I definitely thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Of course. No, I'm so happy that you would ask me to be a part. So
yes, well, I am just, every time I see you, I'm like, God, he's still working in his living room. I need to be better, because you are always on. So, and I just, you know, tell your wife or fiance, soon-to-be wife, that I appreciate her giving just as much, because when I saw her, I was like, she is living and she's preparing for the next class. Like, I was like in awe. So both of you have a very blessed weekend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this, Sandra. You too.
All right, bye.